All right, let's kick things off. Today, we're going to dig into this document, 40 Survival Tools, 40 Essential Tools for Every Survival Kit by Jered Smith.
Right.
Our goal here isn't just to list stuff. We want to really unpack the thinking behind it, Pull out the key ideas for building, well, a bug-out bag, something
Yeah.
really critical.
Yeah, and the source, it paints a pretty stark picture right from the start. It basically says, look, disasters don't schedule appointments. They just happen.
To anyone, anywhere.
Exactly. And it makes a really important point. When things get really chaotic on a large scale, our usual support systems, city, state, even federal, they might just get overwhelmed. They might not be able to help everyone.
Which kind of leads directly to the main idea of this whole document, right?
Right.
Sometimes the smartest move isn't waiting around for help. It's taking charge yourself,
Yeah.
getting out, bugging out, as the source calls it. And if you're going to do that, well, you need the gear to actually make it work.
Precisely. And that's where the bug-out bag, the BOB, comes in. The document defines it as like your personal lifeline. It's this emergency kit you put together carefully, and it's designed to keep you going for at least 72 hours after you've had to leave home.
Right. So think of this deep dive as helping you understand the why behind the specific kit setup. We'll walk through the main parts, the thinking based on this document, help you see not just what to pack, but why the author thinks it's important.
Okay, so first, what does bugging out actually mean, according to this source? It's deciding to leave your home proactively because of some emergency. Could be natural, like a hurricane, or, man-made.
And the BOB, that's your support system for that initial period, designed specifically for those first 72 hours, maybe longer. Gives you that buffer, that time to get somewhere safer.
Now, the bag itself, the physical bag, the source, really stresses practicality. It needs to be, well, manageable, comfortable enough to carry for a while.
Weight distribution, keeping your hands free, that's key, right? Especially if you can't count on using a car.
Absolutely. And durable. It has
yeah.
to be tough, able to take some abuse and not fall apart right when you need it most.
Makes sense. And organization.
Yeah, compartments are important, so you can grab what you need quickly, even under stress. No fumbling around.
And water resistance. That seems obvious, but critical.
Yeah.
Wet gear is bad news.
Definitely. The document even suggests a simple trick. Line the inside of your bag with a heavy-duty construction trash bag. Extra protection.
Smart. Okay. So inside this carefully picked bag, what goes in? The source lists 12 main categories of supplies.
Right. 12 categories it sees as essential. No, we're going to go through those, plus a really important extra one. Documents and cash. Non-physical, but vital stuff.
All right, let's jump into the absolute core of survival, at least according to this document. It talks about these rules of survival.
Yeah, the threes. 3 hours without shelter in extreme weather. 3 days without water. 3 weeks without food. That order tells you a lot about priorities.
It really does. Water is right up there after immediate shelter, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise the document starts with water and hydration. It's your most critical physiological need after staying warm or cool enough.
How much do you need?
Well, the average adult, depending on, how active they are, the climate, they need at least a liter a day, minimum. So for a 72-hour kit, the recommendation is pack at least 3 liters per person.
3 liters minimum. And how should you carry it? The source has specific ideas there too, right?
Yeah, don't put it all in one container. That's the key advice. Split that minimum 3 liters into 3 different types of containers.
Why is that?
Risk mitigation. If one bottle breaks, leaks, gets lost, you don't lose everything. You've still got water.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What kinds of container?
It suggests, first, a 32-ounce wide-mouth Nalgene-type bottle. The hard plastic ones. They're tough, crush-resistant, easy to fill.
Got it. What else?
A metal water bottle, single wall, preferably. The big advantage here, the source points out, is you can boil water in it right over a fire. So you can collect water from a stream or whatever and purify it.
Dual purpose. Good thinking. And the third?
A collapsible soft bottle. These are great because they're lightweight and take up almost no space when they're empty. The tip is to drink from this one first, so you get that space back in your pack sooner.
3 liters is just the start, though. You're likely going to need more. So purifying water, you find, becomes essential.
Definitely. Boiling, like we just mentioned with the metal bottle, that's listed as 100% effective against all the nasty stuff. Viruses, bacteria, cysts. Simple heat does the job.
But it has downsides.
Yeah, you need fuel for a fire. It takes time. And you might be exposed while you're waiting. Weather matters too.
Okay, what about filters?
Hand pump filters are an option. They can filter water pretty quickly, maybe a liter a minute. They physically screen out bacteria and cysts. The source notes that most of them don't get viruses because viruses are just too small. That's a key difference from boiling. Plus, they can be a bit pricey.
And those integrated bottle filters, like the straws you drink through.
Super convenient, yeah.
Mm.
Collect dirty water, drink clean water straight away. But again, you need to know what it actually filters out. Same limitation often applies regarding viruses.
Then there are the chemical treatments. Tablets?
Yep, purification tablet. The principle is chemical disinfection. They're cheap, weigh nothing, take up no space. Usually 1 tablet per liter.
How long does that take?
It varies, anywhere from 30 minutes to maybe 4 hours, depending on the type of tablet and the water conditions, like temperature. So there's a waiting time involved.
Yeah.
That's a factor.
Okay, water covered. That handles the 3-day rule. What about the 3-week rule? Food. What does the source say about choosing food for the BOB?
Practicality is key again. Ideally, open and eat. Stuff that needs little or no prep.
Makes sense in an emergency.
It needs a long shelf life, too. The suggestion is up to 6 months, ideally, so you're not constantly swapping it out.
Lightweight and packable, of course. Everything adds up on your back.
Yes, exactly. And nutritionally dense. High in carbs for quick energy and calories for sustained effort. Things like dried grains, pasta, rice for carbs, dried meats, nuts for calories, and protein.
What specific foods get mentioned?
MRE's meals ready to eat get a highlight. They're self-contained, packed with calories, usually over 1,000, reliable.
Weren't those just military issues?
Originally, yeah, but the source notes, there are plenty of civilian versions available now from various companies.
And they often have those heaters, right?
Many do, yeah. The flameless ration heater, add a little water, chemical reaction makes heat. That's a big plus if you can't make a fire or need to be discreet.
What about other options, like camping meals?
Dehydrated camping meals, noodle packs, common, easy to find. But the source points out they usually need cooking, boiling water. So you need a heat source and time, unlike some MREs.
Energy bars.
Granola bars.
Definitely practical. Good for eating on the move. High in quick carbs and sugars. Good for short bursts of energy.
Any other examples? Yeah, things like instant oatmeal, maybe some whole grain rice if you plan to cook, beef jerky, those foiled tuna packs, nuts, they all kind of fit the bill. Fairly light, packable, good calories, minimal prep. And while open and eat is ideal, you might need some basic prep, like using that flameless heater or building a safe campfire if possible.
So a small cooking kit is recommended?
Yeah, a small kit that fits in the bag.
Yeah.
Maybe a little pot, a pan, utensils, a cup. It just gives you more options, safer boiling, maybe a bit of cooking.
Good point. What about infants? That adds a whole other layer.
Huge point. If you're bugging out with a baby or toddler, you absolutely need formula, diapers enough for 72 hours. And remember, extra water just for mixing formula.
That's going to add weight and bulk.
Significantly.
Yeah.
And the source is clear. The adult carries that. It's a necessary burden you have to factor into your whole packing strategy.
Okay, so we've got water, food. Next up, clothing. Staying warm, staying dry. That directly hits the 3 hours without shelter rule. Essentially, your clothes are your first layer of shelter.
Exactly. And the source is very clear here. There's no single right list. It completely depends on your climate.
Right. You wouldn't pack the same for Florida as for Alaska.
Precisely. The examples are just illustrations. Tropical. Maybe good t-shirts, durable pants, decent shoes, but still, you need a light jacket or windbreaker for rain or cool nights. Colder places? Layering is everything. Heavy jacket, gloves, hats, multiple shirts underneath. Wearing layers actually saves pack weight compared to packing bulky items.
But one thing applies everywhere, right? Waterproofing.
Absolutely essential. Getting wet is dangerous in almost any climate. Hypothermia is a real risk, even in moderately cool temps if you're soaked. At best, it's just miserable and drains your energy.
So what are the absolute clothing essentials according to the document?
Underwear and socks. Surprisingly, the source calls these the 2 most important items for preventing problems on the move.
Really? Why?
Blisters, chafing, foot infections, stuff that can literally stop you in your tracks. The recommendation is pack at least 1 extra pair of each for every 2 days you expect to be moving.
Okay, good tip. Pants and shirts.
Ideally, something tough but lightweight. Maybe a polycotton blend. Maybe with a Teflon coating for water resistance. Lots of pockets are practical. Strong belt loops for a sturdy belt. Maybe even for carrying things on the belt. Pack at least 2 long-sleeve shirts, sun, bugs, scrapes, and a few undershirts or t-shirts for layering.
Footwear is obviously critical if you're walking.
Huge. Good hiking boots are pretty much a must. Comfortable, broken in, ideally, and pack a small repair kit. Extra laces are vital. A broken lace seems minor, but it can sideline you.
Gloves.
Sturdy work gloves for protecting your hands doing tasks. And if it's cold, proper winter-rated gloves are essential.
What about belts and hats?
A quality belt, not just for pants. The source notes it could be an emergency tourniquet or strap. Hats are key too. Ball cap or hiking hat, plus sunglasses for sun protection. And a warm winter hat in the cold protects ears. Stops major heat loss from your head.
Okay, that's personal shelter clothing. What about actual, shelter structures and bedding?
Right. Tents. The source says they're kind of complicated for bugging out, mainly because of weight and bulk. Even a small one-person tent can be like 8 pounds.
So maybe not for everyone.
Depends on your plan, your fitness, how much you can carry. If you include one, make it small and suitable.
What about traps? They're mentioned.
Yeah, simple snares or traps. Not really for immediate 72-hour survival. But the idea is if you might need to stay put somewhere for a few days, they could potentially help supplement your food. Depends on skills and location, obviously.
Sleeping bag seems like a basic need, though.
Oh, definitely. For warmth, protection from the elements, comfort. Needs to have a temperature rating suitable for the potential lows in your area.
And a ground sheet.
Also recommended. Weighs maybe a couple of pounds. It's that barrier between you and the cold, damp, buggy ground. Prevents heat loss, keeps you drier, more comfortable, helps avoid illness. Should fit under your sleeping bag or tent if you have one.
And the source mentions a cool dual use for the ground sheet.
Yeah, because it's waterproof, you can use it to wrap up sensitive gear inside your pack, like electronics or documents or medicine. Add another layer of protection and helps organize things too.
Let's shift gears to something people might overlook, but the source says is critical: sanitation and hygiene.
Yeah, it really stresses this. It says hygiene issues can quickly become major survival issues. Preventing infection, preventing illness, that's absolutely key when medical help isn't readily available.
So what's in the basic hygiene pack? Travel sizes, I assume?
Definitely travel sizes to save space and weight. And like other items, many have dual uses. All-purpose bar soap, not just for washing yourself. Use it for clothes, cooking gear, and really importantly, cleaning wounds.
Okay, soap. What else?
Tampons and sanitary napkins. Besides the obvious use, the source points out their absorbency makes them great emergency bandages, secure with tape, and maybe even as a rough pre-filter for very murky water before boiling or proper filtering.
Interesting. Wet wipes.
Disinfecting wet napkins, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for a quick field bath, getting rid of grime, oil, bacteria when you can't properly wash. Also good for wiping down gear, keeping things clean.
Hand sanitizer.
Travel size, high alcohol content, good for disinfecting hands, maybe small scrapes when soap and water aren't available.
Diapers again, if you have a little one.
Crucial.
Yeah.
That 72-hour supply is vital for the child and for the whole group's hygiene. Managing waste is important.
That's how.
A small pack towel, not a big cotton one. Something lightweight, super absorbent, and quick drying, like microfiber.
Toothbrush.
Mini travel toothbrush and paste. The source kind of frames this as more for morale than strict survival for 72 hours. Helps maintain normalcy, routine. That could be psychologically important. You could survive without it for 3 days, sure.
Yeah, and toilet paper.
Pack some. At least a few yards, maybe taken off the cardboard roll to save space. Don't count on finding leaves easily, especially under stress.
Good point. Okay, next up, first aid and medications. Another vital kit within a kit.
Absolutely. Needs its own organized, compartmentalized kit inside the VOB. And the source recommends getting an outdoor-specific first aid kit, not just a standard home one. It's more likely to have things for blisters, cuts, burns, environmental issues.
And the container needs to be waterproof.
Critically important.
Yeah.
Or at least use waterproof bags inside the container. Moisture ruins lots of medical supplies. Pills crumble, bandages get contaminated, gauze loses sterility.
Dual uses here, too.
Yep. Rubber gloves protect you when treating someone, sure, but also makeshift water carriers or keep small things dry.
Tweezers.
Essential. Splinters, ticks, simple but necessary.
Insect repellent.
Recommended, especially 100% EET, for effectiveness against ticks and mosquitoes which carry diseases. The source adds a surprising note here, though.
Oh.
DT is flammable, so in a pinch it can actually help start a fire in damp or windy conditions. Acts as an accelerant. Obviously use that knowledge very carefully.
Wow, okay. Safety pins.
Good for securing bandages, yeah, but also emergency repairs on gear or clothing. The source even mentions, like, improvised sutures in a dire emergency, but that's obviously extreme and requires knowledge.
A mirror.
Basic, but useful. For checking yourself for injuries you can't see head, face, back, eyes, and the classic dual use, signaling for help by flashing sunlight.
Medications seem highly personal.
Totally. This part must be customized. Include all your daily prescription meds, emergency meds like inhalers or EpiPens if you need them, allergy meds, any medical tools you use daily like blood sugar testers or syringes, and don't forget specific baby medicines if needed.
What about vision? Glasses, contacts.
Big one. If you wear prescription glasses, pack a backup pair. Don't rely only on contact lenses. Pack backup contacts and backup glasses. Redundancy for something as vital as sight is crucial.
Okay, makes sense. Let's talk communications. Getting info, maybe sending it, navigation too.
Yeah, essential for situational awareness. Knowing what's going on, weather, potential threats, safe areas, maybe where supplies or rescue points are.
What's the key principle here? What kind of devices?
Devices that can access information channels that might still work, even if the normal grid is down. Emergency broadcast bands, for example. Even if 911 is overwhelmed, those emergency alerts might still go out.
Cell phone. Worth bringing.
Source says bring it, just in case.
Yeah.
Text might get through even if calls don't. GPS might work if the satellites are okay. But don't rely on it. Pack an extra battery, or even better, a hand crank charger.
Okay. What about radios?
An emergency radio is highlighted as potentially your only source of incoming information. A hand crank power option is ideal, so you're not dependent on batteries dying.
Any specific features to look for?
NOAA weather radio capability is a big one. It broadcasts continuous weather warnings and hazard alerts across most of the U.S., 247. That's a vital stream of info in many disasters.
Navigation can't just rely on the phone GPS, right?
Absolutely not. Pack a physical local paper map. Doesn't need batteries, doesn't care about satellite signals. Old school but reliable.
And a compass to go with it.
A fundamental necessity. Reliable orientation, works with the map, no electronics needed.
Two-way radios. Walkie-talkies.
Useful if you're bugging out as part of a group and need to coordinate. The source suggests only packing them if they fit your specific plan and group. Otherwise, maybe not worth the wait.
And something simple.
Notepad and pencil. Sounds basic, but essential for writing down info you hear, directions, leaving notes for others, planning. A waterproof notepad is a smart upgrade. Okay, now we get to something the source calls the core of human survival.
And which is?
Fire. It actually calls it the most important survival skill.
Wow, that's a strong statement. Why such emphasis?
Well, think about what fire provides. Heat, obviously, for body warmth, drying clothes, fighting hypothermia, which the source calls the #1 outdoor killer.
Cooking food, boiling water for safety.
Yep. Signaling smoke during the day, the light at night, that's a classic rescue signal.
And something else too.
Morale. The source makes a point that maybe 90% of survival is mental. Fire provides light, warmth, sense of security, a focal point. It's calming, empowering in a really bad situation.
So the fire kit itself is super important.
Absolutely. A small, organized container inside the BOB, watertight is best, holding multiple ways to reliably make fire.
Redundancy again. What's key inside the kit?
Guaranteed fire start and tinder. Something that will definitely catch a spark or flame, even if conditions are wet or windy. Specific examples mentioned. Wet fire is a brand name tinder that apparently lights and burns even while floating on water.
Okay, what else?
Steel wool. Fine steel wool catches a spark really easily, from a ferro rod or even a battery sometimes. Great for igniting other tinder.
And something homemade.
Pet balls. It's a common DIY thing, just cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly. The jelly makes the cotton ball burn much longer from just a spark, giving you time to build up the flame.
Simple but effective. Okay, beyond the absolute basics like water and fire, the source talks about tools. Why are specific tools needed?
Because you might need to do things yourself, off-grid, that would be incredibly hard or time-consuming or just impossible without the right tool.
What are the must-haves according to this document? It ranks them, right?
Yeah. A good survival knife is ranked third most important overall, right after something to make fire and a metal container to boil water in.
What makes a good survival knife in this context?
Simple, strong, functional, not flashy, pure utility. And the uses are incredibly broad. Maybe hunting or prepping small game, cutting cordage, digging, maybe light prying or hammering, carving wood for traps or tools, striking a ferro rod for fire, building shelter parts, food prep, even potentially polishing the blade for signaling. Its versatility is why it's ranked so high.
Okay, a knife. What else?
A multi-tool,
Yep.
like a pocket toolbox. Pliers, wire cutters, screwdrivers, can opener, maybe a small blade. Lots of functions in one compact thing. Super useful for repairs, adjustments, all sorts of tasks.
And a machete. Seems big for a BOB.
It is bigger, yeah, but the source highlights its usefulness, especially if you might be in wilderness or overgrown areas. Great for chopping wood, clearing brush for a path or campsite, blazing a trail. Can even be used for digging in softer ground. Very efficient for certain tasks.
All right. Lighting, another category. Seems obvious, but why is it critical?
Because if there's a major disaster, you can pretty much assume the power grid is down. No streetlights, no house lights. Seeing at night depends entirely on what you carry.
And why do you need light specifically?
Moving around at night without light is dangerous, tripping hazards, unseen threats. You need light to set up or break down your camp safely and efficiently in the dark or low light. And a bright light can be a rescue signal.
What's the recommended approach? Just one flashlight?
The suggestion is layers. Again, one main light, a small backup, and maybe an alternative source too.
Main light.
An LED headlamp is recommended. The big advantage is it's hands-free, lets you work or walk with both hands available. LEDs are also light and batteries last a long time.
Makes sense. Backup.
A small LED flashlight, like a mini mag light, is suggested. Compact, tough, reliable.
And alternative sources.
Things like a simple candle gives long-lasting ambient light if you're staying put. Or chemical glow sticks, they're safe, no spark risk, good for marking things, or low-level light.
Okay, now we get into a potentially sensitive area. Protection and self-defense. The source tackles this directly.
It does. It acknowledges that, unfortunately, disasters can sometimes bring out the worst in people. Looting, violence. So it presents being prepared to defend yourself and your family as part of overall readiness.
How does it approach this? Starts with avoidance, right?
Yeah, it calls it self-defense, which doesn't mean being aggressive, but being proactive to avoid confrontation in the first place. That's the best defense.
What kind of tips?
Things like check your ego, don't show off your supplies, stay low-key and observant, try to travel with others as possible, safety in numbers, make decisions based on facts, not assumptions. Be cautious about trusting strangers, and really listen to your gut instincts about dangerous situations or people.
But if avoidance fails, what options does the source discuss?
Well, your own body, if you have self-defense training. But it notes hand-to-hand combat is extremely risky, a last resort.
Okay. Other options.
Pepper spray is mentioned as a useful, less lethal tool, carried by police and others. The source suggests a specific brand, Cold Steel Inferno, but the idea is a potent spray.
The survival knife comes up again here.
It does. Primarily a tool, but usable as a weapon in close quarters. The source is careful to say using a knife for defense is dangerous, even if you're trained, but it is an option.
And the machete.
Also mentioned here, its size and reach can be an effective deterrent, and it's obviously capable as a weapon alongside its tool functions.
Finally, firearms.
A bug-out gun is discussed, yeah, but with important caveats. It's not for everyone. It absolutely requires proper training, knowledge of laws, and should be kept concealed.
Does it recommend a specific type?
For this specific context, the source suggests a revolver might be considered. The reasoning given is they tend to be simple to operate, mechanically reliable, relatively easy to maintain in rough conditions, and easy to conceal. Holds maybe 5 to 9 rounds. The rationale presented is focused purely on simplicity and reliability for potential last-ditch defense in an austere environment. From the source's viewpoint. We're just relaying what's in the document here.
Understood. Okay. Moving towards the end of the list, there's a miscellaneous category. Items that might be needs or wants, depending.
Exactly. But they all have significant utility, often with multiple uses. Resealable plastic bags, for example. Just incredibly versatile for organizing, keeping things dry, storing small items, even temporary water carrying.
Heavy-duty trash bags.
Yeah. Contractor-grade 55-gallon bags, big and tough. The source lists tons of uses. BOB liner, ground sheet, emergency ponchos, storing waste, making a shelter roof, flotation aid, water collection or storage, even a signal panel.
An N95 mask.
Recommended, especially by health organizations like the CDC. Traps, airborne particles, dust, maybe even some viruses. Important if the air quality is bad due to debris, smoke, or potential biological hazards.
Paracord.
550 parachute cord. Strong, versatile cordage. The source suggests even just 10 feet is really useful. Repairs, fishing line, shelter building, snares, emergency belt, even maybe doubled up for light climbing tasks in a pinch.
Binoculars. Luxury or necessity.
Could be seen as luxury due to weight, but the source argues they offer real advantages. Scouting routes or locations from afar, spotting potential threats or help, observing people without getting close, keeping track of your group members, reading distant signs, situational awareness.
A small fishing kit?
Right weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. A backup plan for food, if your supplies run low and you happen to be near water with fish.
Stowing kit?
Tiny, almost no weight.
Wait.
But essential for repairing clothes, tents, bags. Keeping your gear functional is critical.
Rubber tubing. That seems specific.
Latex surgical tubing, yeah. Surprisingly useful according to the source, especially if your water filter doesn't have a straw. Can be used as a drinking straw for hard-to-reach water, a siphon, an emergency tourniquet, even to make a makeshift slingshot or spear gun component.
Duct tape. And forget duct tape.
Of course, the legendary multi-use item,
Mm.
emergency cordage, patching containers, makeshift bandage, fixing gear, repairing shoes, endless uses.
And bandanas.
2 bandanas are recommended. Simple squares of cloth, but so useful. Pot holder, dust mask, sun protection for your neck, crude water pre-filter, trail marker, bandage, tie things together, clean surface for food prep.
Okay, that covers the misgear. But there's one final crucial category the source brings up last, but stresses is vital.
Right. Important documents and cash.
Why are these so critical?
Because your house, where the originals might be, could be gone, looted, burned down, inaccessible. You need proof of who you are, what you own, your medical needs, and a way to pay for things if electronic systems are down. And keep them in a waterproof case, definitely.
What kind of documents?
It's a comprehensive list. ID like birth certificates, driver's license, social security card, passport, marriage license, insurance papers, home, auto, life, rental, medical info, health cards, list of prescriptions, allergies, immunization records, maybe your will, and financial stuff, bank account numbers, loan details, credit card info, maybe just the contact numbers.
I mean cash, real money.
Essential. Don't count on ATMs or credit cards working. The recommendation is a minimum of $500. In small bills, 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s. Easier to make change. And the source adds quarters might be useful for old payphones or vending machines, if any still work.
Okay, so that covers the bag, the 12 categories from the source, plus the documents and cash. A lot to think about.
It is, but the source's conclusion wraps it up with a really vital message. It's not just about having the stuff.
Right, tools are important, but not enough on their own.
Exactly. You have to practice with your gear, get familiar with it, comfortable using it, maybe even under stress. Your kit needs to be tailored to you, your skills, your likely scenarios, and yeah, your budget too.
You can buy all the best gear, read every survival manual.
But you can't buy mental toughness. You can't buy physical fitness. You can't buy the actual skills that only come from doing things, from experience, from repetition.
So, relying just on having the gear can give you a false sense of security. Packing the BOB is like step one, foundational, but just the beginning.
The real challenge, the source emphasizes, is building that mental resilience, that physical capability to actually use the plan and the gear effectively when things go sideways. Being mentally prepared helps you think clearly, use what you have effectively, even when everything's chaotic.
Which really leaves us with a powerful thought, doesn't it? Building the bag, getting the tools, that's the tangible part. But thinking beyond just the items in this document, what kind of personal readiness skills, mindset, fitness might you need to work on to be truly prepared for the unexpected?